Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, today we'll start off focusing on the National Assembly. We're joined by Senator Gbenga Ashafa, who is the chairman, Senate Committee on Land Transport. Morning, and thank you for coming on this morning. Well. Looking through the dailies, I think it's an offshoot from the presidential media chat, wherein they just focus on the National Assembly, and the big one is the cars that they're going to buy. Just break it down. Vehicles?
Well, the figures are kind of confusing. I read in one of the papers that 47 billion was going to be expended on the procurement of vehicles. In some, they mentioned 4.7. Now, Chamberlain is saying 4.6.
Now, I'm asking, is it actually going to be 4.6?
With all intent and purposes, I must tell you that the issues were raised. And like any government arm, what you'll find out is that you can only manage whatever is given to you in the budget. And let me go further by explaining that the vehicles in place are not personal vehicles to legislators. They are vehicles meant for oversight functions.
The ones in place are the ones that you want to buy?
The ones that are going to be bought.
Okay.
As I'm speaking with you now, there is no single vehicle for any legislator that is new.
Well, what about the vehicles there before?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. For those who came in, maybe third time or second time or fourth time, the vehicles that you were using then were sold to you at the price, the current price that was prevailing. Yes, I'm sure the next question you will ask is that, but you secured your car loans. That
and transport allowance.
That one is on the side. On the side in the sense that the revenue mobilization and Fiscal Commission had in place the remunerations, allowances, and salaries of legislators. Whoever comes in there as the Senate President, or whatever leadership that you have in place in the Senate, will have to comply with all those indices in the remuneration package. However, the issue of vehicles, new vehicles for senators that are coming in, it is assumed that the senators that are coming in are new senators.
So do the ones that did not return?
Yes.
Because you understand that about over 80% of them, of legislatures, did not return.
Of course, yes.
So did they go with the vehicles?
Of course, yes. The vehicles were sold to them.
I thought you said it was supposed to be for legislative oversight.
They were sold to them. It was a normal practice.
Let's break it down. So
for
that people,
4 years, you've been using a vehicle.
I understand. Let's see how we can break it down so that people can also understand. There are personal vehicles attached to you for your office, and there are also vehicles for oversight.
No, there are no personal vehicles attached to you for your office. You secure car loans for your personal use.
Because when you said they were for oversight, I thought it was meant for their office and not for the legislature.
Personal car loans is different. Just like, you are running an organization. You secure car loans from your establishment, your management. It is given to you. But when you are going on your duty, if your duty demands that you go with a vehicle, it is either that they provide a vehicle for you, or at any point in time that you are going, financial remuneration is given to you to perform that. And come, let me tell you something. The problem we might likely run into if we don't have this kind of facility for the senators is that the ministries, departments, and agencies that were supposed to be overseen would have to come in.
I'm sorry, Senator, let me come in here. I mean, you have used the instance of a private organization,
sure,
which will have operational vehicles and would also have status vehicles for its members of staff. But the difference between how the National Assembly runs that and how a private organization might run that is the fact that operational vehicles will not be sold to members of staff. Chances are high that they would auction them out to the public if at the end of maybe a certain amount of years, not every 4 years, will operational vehicles be auctioned out, whether or not they were used. But it would seem that that's what happens at the National Assembly.
You are looking at the National Assembly as being limited to only the legislators alone. For goodness sake, the National Assembly is large. You have the normal staff of the National Assembly, as well as other organizations within the National Assembly, like the National Institute of Legislative
But from your explanation,
Studies.
it doesn't seem that it is the members of the other members of staff
No,
that
I'm
get
taking
those
you
vehicles.
on the operational vehicles. Those will have operational vehicles that are on ground. And in most cases, you'll find that there are buses and such IAS buses and the vehicles that will be able to take more than 2 or 3 or 4 people.
No, but we
Let
thought that
us come back to the root of what has brought this discussion up, because the president during his presidential media chat, mentioned, the vehicles of the National Assembly, and he was saying that he might come to have a discussion, or a private discussion with members of the National Assembly, because, we're in difficult times, and we're being told to tighten our belts. Nigerians are being told to brace up for difficult times. The budget of the National Assembly in 2015 was 150 billion. In 2016, we understand it's 115 billion. But still, Nigerians are saying that doesn't look like it's a sufficient cut enough. Besides, it has not been made transparently clear as to, which overheads belong to where.
So, you've not landed with your question.
So the question is, are the members of the National Assembly looking critically at reducing drastically their budget?
Come, I must tell you something, and this is with, I'm on this note, it is not personal. I'm speaking on behalf of, the entire Senate. I can give you for a fact that whatever is necessary to do to be able to sacrifice in ensuring that the budget is lean, transparent, and workable as far as the president is concerned, we will buy into it. The president had promised that he's going to have a closed door session with us. We're waiting for that. And we'll be transparent about whatever has been discussed in that meeting. If the consensus is that this vehicle issue should be jettisoned, so be it. We are ready to sacrifice for the sake of moving this country. I'm part of the change mantra. My party, APC, is preaching the change mantra. The president is president of the nation, but is a leader, a foremost leader in the party. If he feels strongly about this, I'm sure he will be able to convince the National Assembly. And any other thing that he has brought to the table.
So if you could just put the figure to it, since the different figures being banded, how much exactly are we talking about?
I won't be in position to tell you that.
Why not?
Because we are not even sure what is going to be in the budget. It is predicated on the appropriation in the 2016 appropriation.
We'll come back to that. Sorry to cut you there. We'll come back to that. But if you look at it now, I'm trying to look at the dynamics of this whole process or tradition where the cars are sold to you when you're leaving. Maybe when you need it, you buy. If you don't want it, someone else comes to bid for it. Where does the money go to? Money accrued from the cars sold. Who keeps it?